Okay, Liz, in the interest of time, do we want to just go ahead and get started? Are you
Sure.
ready to go?
Yeah, that sounds good. Let me
Do you mind
just share my
starting?
screen.
That would be great. Thank you.
Can you see my screen there, Jody?
Sure can. You bet.
Great.
So welcome everybody. We are going to go ahead and get started today. Just if anybody's interested, we are streaming this live on YouTube right now, as well as recording it, and it will be on our website. So if you happen to miss it, or if there's anything that you want to rehear, it will be available for everybody to do that. In spirit of reconciliation, though, I would really like to acknowledge the fact that we live, work, and play on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy, being the Siksika, Kainai, and Piikani nations, as well as the Tsuut'ina Nation, the Stoney Nakoda Nation, and the Métis Nation Region 3. And I would like to say welcome to all the people who make their homes here in the Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta. We're so excited to be able to come to you today to talk about the emergency savings program that Momentum has. Today, Liz Wong, our financial empowerment facilitator, will be joining us. I'll just go through the first couple of slides and then I'm going to hand it on to the ever knowledgeable and fantastic facilitator, Liz. So next slide, please, Liz. So at Momentum, many of you know already, we work with people living on low income, okay? And we partner with many people in the community in order to create a thriving local economy for all. And we really do stand behind those words. We feel very strongly about local economy and being able to have everybody thrive and just live the best lives they can with financial empowerment as a wonderful tool. If you have any questions at all, you can visit momentum.org for any more information. Next slide, please. Right now, all of our in-person programming is on hold. We're working quickly to try and get it up and running in the fall, but for now, we do have a couple of helplines that you are able to access. So the first one is the money management helpline, where you can get assistance with money management, any resource navigation, or even some financial coaching if you need some assistance there. Give Sherry a call. The phone number is there, as well as the email. Next slide, please. We also have Bridget and other Momentum staff at the business helpline and coaching, where you can get assistance from professional coaches that can help you with your business, any recommendations you might need, or navigation or resource navigation that lines up with small business accounts. And again, the phone number and the email is there. And then our last helpline, you can give anybody at Momentum a call really and get some assistance with employment. So that's job coaching, resume advice, interview preparation. The phone number and the email are there as well if you need any assistance. All three helplines are open from Monday to Friday from 9 to 5. So just a quick bit of housekeeping. It's about a 25-minute presentation. There will be a question and answer period after. Please use the question and answer feature if you have any questions at all. It just makes it a little bit easier for us to navigate that because using the chat feature, things sometimes go through real quickly and we might miss the chat. But if you use question and answer, we're able to better answer those questions for you towards the end. Everybody is muted, so if you have any questions, like I said, please use that. And lastly, like I said, we are on YouTube right now going live, as well as recording this if you want any further information. And now I'm going to hand it over to Liz. Liz, I'm welcoming you today. Thank you so much for coming to talk to all of our participants about what savings looks like. And I just can't wait to hear your presentation. Take it away, Liz.
Great. Well, thanks so much for the lovely introduction, Jody. I really appreciate it. So yeah, I am Liz Wong. I am a financial empowerment facilitator at Momentum along with Jody. And the specific program that I work on is an online savings program. It is a 100% app-based program completely available on your smartphone, and it helps people to auto save for their emergency funds, which is what we are talking about today. So that program will be launching soon, and we'll tell you a few more details near the end of this presentation. Okay, so what is an emergency fund? How do I get one? How much should be in one? We're going to cover that all today. You might have also heard an emergency fund referred to as a rainy day fund, a resiliency fund, maybe a financial safety net, or a bridging fund. But basically, it's different from other saved money because, firstly, it is easily accessible. So it's probably going to be in your regular savings account at your financial institution. And secondly, it is meant to be spent, but only on an emergency. And so more on what exactly makes up an emergency we'll cover in the next slide. But if you're interested in knowing more about the different accounts that are available at your financial institution, just so you know, Momentum also runs a workshop on banking, and you can learn more on momentum.org. All right, so what qualifies as an emergency? There's many different kinds of emergency, but they are all the same in kind of four basic ways. They're unexpected, they are unnecessary expense, they are urgent, and they do not reoccur. So some examples, an unexpected medical, dental, or vet expense. So not covered by healthcare or insurance. That's certainly an emergency that you'd want an emergency savings fund for. A car emergency. Let's say that you need your car to get to work, but you get in an accident. Even with insurance, you probably have to pay a deductible. So that sort of expense you'll want to have saved up for, as well as any sort of breakdown where you're going to need to pay for a repair. A major appliance breakdown. Have you ever come home in the middle of winter and the house was super cold, and no matter how much you turned up the thermostat, it was still cold? So a furnace breakdown in the middle of winter, that is certainly urgent, definitely necessary. That's what an emergency savings fund is for. An unexpected loss of income, because when we lose our job, we still have to pay the bills, right? And then lastly, property damage. So some of you may remember that we had a really bad hailstorm in June of this year. And I have an aunt that lives up in Castleridge in the northeast of Calgary, and all of her windows in her garage got smashed in the same night. So, completely unexpected, needed to get fixed right away. These are some examples of when you would want to have that emergency fund. So why build an emergency fund? Well, because life happens. We all have those moments where, surprise, we need money for something that's unpleasant. And when that happens, it's better to not have to take out a high interest loan or rely on credit. And why? It's because credit charges interest, and that can be really high. On average, Canadians pay just under 20% in interest on their credit cards, and that can compound and create a cycle of debt that's hard to get out of, right? So when that happens, sometimes you end up defaulting on your credit payments. You do not pay them, and it hurts your credit score. And it's hard to get a loan, and it could be hard to get a loan at a good rate later on in future. So maybe you want to take out a car loan or a mortgage. It's going to be really, really difficult. So you can kind of see how the cycle would perpetuate, right? So in short, like, it is an option to use credit, but wouldn't it feel better if you just had that money already set aside and then you can use it for this emergency and you don't owe anyone? So what this image here is showing is that building savings is kind of like climbing a flight of stairs. So once you've got your bottom step all solidly, then you can move up a step at a time and keep on rising up and up and up, right? So at the very lowest level, we have savings for stability. And that's really meeting just your basic needs. So paying your rent, your utilities on time and in full. Once you've got that, you can focus more on family security. So maybe you put aside 1 month's worth of expenses for your family, right? And then once you have that, maybe 2 months or maybe 3 months. Once you are more steady in that respect, you can look more towards longer term savings. So saving for education, tools, or to start a business. And that increases your earning potential, and in turn, it increases your ability to save. So you can kind of see how the cycle of debt keeps bringing it down and down and down, whereas saving, you keep going up and up and up, right? One little step at a time. So when you have an emergency fund, you're in a better place because you have that cushion and that buffer for those unexpected expenses, right? And you're able to handle them without getting into debt, without needing to rely on high cost loans, payday loans, credit card cash advances. You are more in control of the situation. And because these unexpected expenses are usually stressful, you will feel less stressed. And that peace of mind is important because it lets you focus on your goals and things that are more important to you, right? So even if you don't have an emergency fund yet, don't feel bad because 36%, so over a third of all Canadians, don't even have an emergency fund. Watching this webinar is kind of your first step in the right direction, and you can feel really good about that. We're going to teach you everything you need to know. So how much should you keep in an emergency fund? Well, there's not really a magic number. It kind of just depends. It's different for everyone, and it can change over time. And while we're on the subject of time, know that it takes time to build an emergency fund. That could be months, it could even be years. But don't panic, it's all perfectly normal and you will eventually get there. The most important thing though is that you start right now because small amounts can add up. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Liz, I really just need a number. Just give me a number, a dollar figure. Okay, so research from americasaves.org, which is a not-for-profit in the US, shows that if you have $500 or more in an emergency fund and you are living on a low income, you are actually better off financially than families who have less than that saved but have a moderate income. So again, what they are saying is that if you have $500 and a low income, you're almost in a better place than a family with a moderate income but $0 saved. Just think about that for a while, right? If a timeline is more your speed, think of it in terms of months, right? 3 to 6 months worth of expenses is also a great goal to have for an emergency fund. And in an ideal world, when you're planning for that, those monthly expenses, you're thinking about both monthly fixed expenses and your debt repayment. Okay, how do you build an emergency fund? Well, we've put together some great tips here for first-time emergency fund builders. First, add savings into your monthly budget. So look at your monthly budget and think about what you can intentionally set aside for savings each month. And if you're interested in learning more about budgeting, Momentum has a great free online budgeting course, and we will tell you more about that later on in this presentation. Another tip, set a savings goal. So again, some of us are numbers people, like I'm certainly one of those people, and it can make it easier to gauge your progress because every dollar you save gets you closer to that $500, $600, whatever your goal may be. Remember that small amounts can add up fast. So even if you're just saving $10 per week, in 1 year, you're already going to surpass that $500 goal if that's your goal. Or even just $1 a day gets you to $365 in 1 year, which is really getting quite close. Pay yourself first. So what does that mean? It means as soon as you get paid, you're going to put some money away in your savings account. So with this method, you're really putting your savings as your first priority. And what is an easy way to pay yourself first? You can automate your savings. So you won't even see the transaction when the money comes out. So it's harder for the money to feel missed. And yet your emergency fund will grow and grow. So the great thing about automating your savings is it's not really a new concept. Many banks and credit unions already have an autosave feature. You just have to ask and they will help you to transfer a fixed amount from your checking account to your savings account. And as I mentioned earlier, I work on a program at Momentum where we have partnered with the Cuber automated savings app. So you can automate your savings there right from your phone, but lots of other automated savings apps are available out there. Okay, so let's say you're already saving, but maybe you just want to get better at it or more quickly grow your savings. So here's a few other tips that we have. Your tax fund refund is a really great time to add to your emergency savings because you already get a nice feeling when you get that refund, right? So while you're in that good mood, why not put a chunk of that in your savings and reduce your stress for later? You can gamify your savings or have a financial diet month. So, what that's talking about is really making things fun and rewarding yourself with savings when you do some sort of action. So, for example, if you brought your lunch to work today, maybe you want to save $10 or whatever amount that it is that you normally would have spent on eating out, right? That's your little reward for saving that money, being able to put it in your savings account. Or maybe in your budget, you've budgeted $100 for eating out every month. And if at the end of the month you've only spent $80 on eating out, hey, congratulations. Bank that $20, put it away in your savings account. So that's what that's talking about there. Money as a gift. Some of us can get money for our birthday. That's a nice surprise. For me, sometimes I loan money to a friend and I don't expect to get it back. So when I get it back, that's a nice little surprise. I count that as a gift. So when you get little cash inflows like that, it's nice to put that away right away in your emergency fund. So this next tip about selling an asset or getting a side hustle, that's more of an increasing income tip. So if you have extra stuff lying around or you're good at something in particular, maybe that's mowing lawns or cleaning up dog poop from lawns or what have you, you can find little ways to get extra pockets of money. And those are great times when you want to put that away for your emergency fund as well. And you'd be surprised at what people are looking for and willing to pay for on Kijiji, Jody. Like one time I was trying to get rid of these encyclopedias and I thought for sure no one would want them. And you know who wanted them was artists and people who were having book themed weddings. So you never know. It's typically free to set it up on Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace. See if you can sell some extra stuff that you have to put in your emergency savings fund.
We need to remember that sometimes things that we think are trash are other people's treasure, right? So
Yeah, absolutely.
reduce, reuse, recycle. I'm totally with you, Liz.
Yeah, you bet. hmm Okay, so a pay raise or a bonus, that's another great time to pay yourself first. And then this last tip, winning a lottery ticket. So we're kind of kidding, not kidding there, right? Um, what we're trying to say is you want to use every opportunity you can to set aside savings, even when it doesn't seem like you need to. So whenever you have some extra cash on hand, don't be afraid to put it into that savings fund. All right, and then using your emergency fund and replenishing. So the other thing that you shouldn't be afraid of is do not be afraid to use the fund in an emergency. You don't need to feel bad about it because that's why you built it up, right? So that you do not have to rely on payday loans. You do not have to rely on credit card cash advances. As long as you're using it for an emergency, then it is meant to be spent, right? Necessary, urgent, unexpected expense. That is what the emergency fund is for. Just as once you dip into it, you should start building it up again right away and replenishing it. So I think that is actually all I have on emergency funds, Jody. Should we take some questions now?
That would be great. Yes. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead. I see that somebody's raised their hand. If you're willing to use the question and answer feature, just go ahead and type it right in there and Liz will be able to answer for you. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any questions come up, Liz. So if nobody has any questions, that's fantastic. But before everybody signs off for the day and gets to enjoy this gorgeous sunshine, I did just want to let you guys know a little bit about our next Money Talks. It won't be until September 8th because 2 weeks from now is a holiday. So we're going to then have it on September 8th. It is going to be on Momentum's program. So we're actually quite excited for this. We're going to be talking about all the programs that Momentum has. We're going to be able to give you some information on what's online and what's in person, and basically just all the things that Momentum has to offer for people going forward. So that is September 8th. If you haven't already registered, or if you know somebody who'd like to register, please feel free to go ahead to momentum.org and register there. And next slide, please, Liz. We also have, like Liz mentioned, some great online learning opportunities. These have just launched recently for us here at Momentum. They are fantastic self-study modules. Part of the things that we do at Momentum is our money management series. And so that's a series that I actually run here at Momentum. And it is made up of 5 courses: budgeting, credit. There is things like banking, assets. It's really a great level of courses. But we did manage to launch 2 of them, both budgeting and credit, online. So like I said, they're self-directed courses where you can go on and work through these and go ahead and get a certificate at the end of them. They're both fantastic. So if you or if you know anybody else who is interested, please visit courses.momentum.org and you can engage in a little bit of online learning with us here at Momentum. On the next slide, please. And then again, this is Liz's. Yeah, all you, Liz.
Sorry, Jody, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to add on to what you said. I've personally taken our online budget and credit courses, and I think they're great. They're interactive. There's little activities in there. There's some really great animations that help to explain the concept. So I certainly recommend them too. So the Momentum Savings Challenge, as I mentioned, we have an online savings program at Momentum. It's kind of new for us too, but what we've done is we have partnered with the Cuber automated savings app. So now you can save anytime, anywhere, using your smartphone. And then the added layer of benefit that Momentum has added on is we are offering cash incentives for Calgarians living on low incomes who are able to hit their savings milestones. And it's all automatic. You just sign up for the Momentum Savings Challenge through the app, and you will get those cash incentives, and you will also get money management tips. Again, it's all from one app. So what exactly is the challenge? Well, we're challenging you to save $40 every month for 10 months. And if you can do that, you can get up to $100 in cash incentives. So it's going to be launched in the next few weeks or so. But if you want to get an email for when that challenge is ready, please sign up for our email list. You can go to tinyurl.com/sign up for challenge. So again, that's tinyurl.com/sign up for challenge, and you will be on that email list. And as soon as the challenge is ready, you will get an email and you can participate.
That's great. Thank you, Liz. And I just wanted to say, Chantel, I see that you said something about you wanted to be able to view this, or your husband wanted to be able to view it. We did go live on YouTube, so this should be right on our YouTube channel immediately, as long as I have done everything correctly on my end, which I'm pretty sure I have. So you can go ahead and watch it, I think, almost immediately. And then just our last slide here is to remind you guys of our business helpline, our employment helpline, and our money management helpline. And please feel free to reach out to any of us at momentum.org. Thank you so much and enjoy the sunshine. Have a wonderful day. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.